Zaharakos Ice Cream Parlor and Museum. Join me today as we take a tour of Zaharakos. My name is Deborah Sloan. I'm a historian here at Zaharakos. I've been involved with them since 2008. I'm also a graphic designer and decorator here at Zaharakos. Join me. Hello, we are now inside the Zaharakos Ice Cream Parlor and Museum. I'd like to tell a little history about Zaharakos. The doors were originally opened October 20th, 1900. It was started by three Greek brothers, but the entire family traveled from Sparta, Greece, by way of Ellis Island and then to Indiana. When they started in 1900, they were a confectionery and they sold only candy. Within a very short period, they started serving ice cream. In 1904, they traveled to the St. Louis World's Fair, where they purchased these lovely liquid carbonic soda fountains. The liquid carbonic exhibit was in the agriculture building, and we have a photo of that exhibit, and the soda fountains look a lot like these. Well, they purchased two of them and the Tiffany-style draft stand, which I'm standing next to. Now, when they bought these, the soda fountain was very small because they were mostly a confectionery. In 1911, they hired the liquid carbonic company to draw a plan to extend the back bar to the full 50-foot you see today and the 40-foot soda bar. The back bar is made of all mahogany and stained glass. And the soda bar, the bottom is Mexican onyx and the top here is Italian marble. They wanted, and these are the two original soda fountains. What you're going to be seeing, I will point out what's original and what is not. The back bar and the soda bar is all 100% original. Now, the tin ceiling that you see up above is also original. Zaharakos was ran by the same family from 1900 to 2006. They were in the third generation of the Zaharakos family. There was not a fourth generation to carry on. Also, there had been a death in the family, and it was getting very trying for the family trying to run a business. It also was getting run down. The tin ceiling was rusted and falling to pieces. And the family had to make a decision. They did close the doors. Zaharakos needed to be saved. It had been an institution in Columbus, Indiana since 1900. Generations and generations of family had brought their children here. And it was before the suburbs hit and shopping centers. This was the hot spot after a basketball game or after the movies. Everyone came to Zaharakos. You came to the local soda fountain. Being in disrepair, the community knew they had to save Zaharakos. Local businessmen got together and thought they could save it with just putting a little into it. One businessman, Tony Moravec, said no, it needed more. So he decided to go it on his own, and he put several million into the restoration. He bought the building next door, which we will also see, which houses a museum, a country store, and a commercial kitchen. During the restoration, when you do a restoration, one needs to decide on a time period. During the years that Zaharakos was open, many styles took place. When they closed in 2006, the back had metal tables and chairs that were bought in the 50s. The stools were 1950 stools. It was a mismatch of a lot of different eras, but the bones were here. The original bones of the quarter-sawn oak woodwork, the beautiful quarter-sawn cabinets, the mirrors, the soda fountains, the soda bars, everything was still here. So he started the restoration. The restoration was started around 2007 and completed and had a grand opening in June 2009, where the entire community showed up for a very long day affair. People were lined all the way down the blocks waiting to get in to see this icon that they had grown up with and brought generations of their families to. We'll see in a few minutes, even though the tables and chairs may have changed over the years, The one thing that never changed was the miniature table and chairs for children, and we will look at that in a couple of minutes. As I said, you do a restoration, you have to pick a time period. There are plenty of 50 diners in this country, but what there are not a lot of are true 100% turn-of-the-century soda fountains that goes back to the heyday of soda fountains, which started in mid-late 1800s and would run till about 1930. So let's look at a few items. We will show you a close-up of the Tiffany style draft stand that was purchased at the 1904 World's Fair. Hopefully we'll get a close-up of some of the stained glass and the liquid carbonic soda fountains. We do still get our carbonation out of those 1904 soda fountains. We do not do the syrups, mainly because of sanitation reasons, but we have replumbed the top mechanisms for doing carbonated water, the draft stands, the drafts themselves. So when you come to Zaharakos, not only do you get to see the authentic soda fountains, you can have a homemade flavored soda from the original soda fountains. And as we walk along here, now originally there were candy counters that ran clear along the front here, but because of space we did take the candy counters out so we could add more seating. As we walk along, you might notice all the syrup dispensers. Mr. Morbeck has made an extensive collection of syrup dispensers over the years. Also these beautiful original globes and lights. Going back to doing a true 1900 restoration, another reason we chose to do that is that we had photos from the early 1900s. We will see photos of that. Many years you changed seating, you changed stools. But the earliest photos we have from the early 1900s show they had wire stools at the counter, they had wire table and chairs. All of the chairs that you will see here in the dining area are original old soda chairs. We spent over a year and a half buying every soda chair around the country we could find, having seats rebuilt, having them powder coated, and saved. The tables are exact reproductions of tables from that time period. So, I think we are showing now the miniature table and chairs that have been here since the early 1900s. Locals will bring their children just to get their photo taken at this miniature table and chairs. It has become quite the family tradition. Also, we are known for Christmas decorations, which you might want to scan this little cabinet over here. Zaharakos had quite a tradition of decorating at Christmas, which we try to fulfill today. We go over the top. So if you show up after about November 2nd or 3rd, you will see a winter wonderland in Zaharakos. We will now walk back to the Welty Orchestrion organ. As we walk, you might have noticed there are skylights in this building. There are 2 skylights. I like to ask the question to people on tours if they believe these skylights are original. 9 out of 10 people will say no, and they would be wrong. The skylights are original. If you go back to the late 1800s when these buildings were built, there were no windows on the side. The only lighting you had would have been kerosene or gasoline lights. So these early storefronts did have skylights in them. So they were reopened and redone during the restoration. You might have also noticed some of these lovely light fixtures. These are original late 1800 gasolier light fixtures. They are not original to Zaharakos, but came out of a soda fountain in the Bronx in New York called John's. In that collection, there were 11 matching gasolier light fixtures. I always say if you had 5, you're dancing in the streets, and we have 11. They were black and they had been wired on the outside, but our conservator rewired them and polished them up, and now they are beautiful. going to play the Wilkie Orchestrion organ. Like I said, built in Freiburg, Germany in 1907, installed here in 1908. It's very unusual to have one of these in an establishment like these. These were usually in wealthy people's homes in that time period because of their great expense. In that time period, this cost $5,000. That was an ungodly amount of money at that time. We assume they might have had backers because this was such an expensive item. Like I said, it has been restored completely from top to bottom. Every nut, every bolt on the inside has been restored and polished up. It was restored by a gentleman named Durwood Center, who lives in Baltimore, Maryland, who also restores items for the Smithsonian. It's going to get loud. We're now standing in front of two Nickelodeons. We have a 1925 Seeger Nickelodeon. It's small in size, but it's 1925. What was going on during that time period? We were in Prohibition. A lot of times they were in speakeasies or places like that. I'm going to play a song. We're now standing in front of the Banjo Nickelodeon. I'm going to play part of a song for you. This seems to be our most popular machine. So come on in, put a quarter in, tap your feet, tap your toes, and dance to your heart's desire. Let's walk down and look at some of these soda fountains. The first one we have here is a puffer soda fountain from 1888. It was made in Boston, Massachusetts. Now they're very fancy, as I mentioned, because it's Victorian times. There's many types of marble, many fancies. Here we have enamel flowers. It's beautiful. And here we have a Keynote soda fountain from 1902. Now look at the marble on this one. 1884. And it was American Soda Fountain Company. A lot of these soda fountain companies later on will merge together as one large company. And here we have a soda fountain from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 1850s to around the 1860s. Here I'm standing in front of the Shelbourne soda fountain made by the Lippercott Soda Company in the 1890s. This is a very elaborate one. This is the one that has the flavor Don't Care. But most of the flavors you know sarsaparilla. Sometimes you have coffee and you have some other flavors that we do not know of today. Here we have a cottage soda fountain, and here we have a Hostling soda fountain made in Newark, New Jersey. The year on this is 1890s also. As I continue walking, we will see another organ. This one is 1870s. It's the earliest one and the oldest that we have. One thing interesting about the Welty Orchestrion that we played earlier is that it was built in 1907 and it has always been run on electricity. As we walk along here, this is another soda fountain that we have. Again, it's not original to Zaharakos. Nothing on this side is Zaharakos because it was not part of Zaharakos. And here we have the Oracle soda fountain from the 1880s. And here we have a Coca-Cola draft stand. This is very rare and don't know of too many like this. Also, one thing interesting is during the restoration we found an original Edison light bulb. It still has its filament in it, and that is why every light that we have are Edison reproduction light bulbs. That shows the level of authenticity that the new owner went through to restore this establishment. This organ is in the 1880s. Again, it's a lot of the same principles. Instead of paper rows, this one has a large rose with raised teeth on it. We're now in the country store, which is half museum and half retail. You might enjoy taking a look at those spice bins up on the top row. Those are quite rare and quite beautiful. Down here at the end we have a beautiful coffee tin and a wonderful coffee grinder that's the size for a country store. On the other side we have many items for sale in retail, and also more spice and other antique advertising tins. We are now in the Crystal Parlor, which is above Zaharakos. It's where the family lived from 1900 to 1914. We did a recreation of the living space, and I hope you enjoy it as we look around the room. We are now in a recreation of a turn-of-the-century kitchen that the family might have used while they lived here. We are now in the bedroom as you look around and see the beautiful Victorian furniture. And if you notice, there is a dress in the wardrobe, which is a walking skirt and a dress that would be very appropriate for that time period. It's much more elegant than what I am wearing today. We are in the soda fountain library, where we have quite an extensive and valuable collection of soda fountain books. These would be catalogs, trade publications, all sorts of wonderful documents. If you can see this one, this is an 1876 catalog. You might notice one of the soda fountains inside. This is 1876, and this is a $2,000 soda fountain. You might also notice this lovely soda fountain table. The reason you'd want this in your establishment, first of all, there aren't messy chairs to clean around, and the people are not going to come in and loaf all day because these are not comfortable. And of course, you can put lovely items in this display area for the ladies to buy. So just what you sell out of here will pay for this table in no time. So you may need one for your establishment. You might also notice we have more syrup dispensers up here. We have the Hires. We also have dispensers for hot beverages that were used a lot in the winter. I'm standing now in front of some of our music rows for the Welty Orchestra and Organ. This is our mechanical music library, where music is housed for both Nickelodeons and the Welty. Hello, we're now back in the very back of Zaharakos. It's a party room that we have where we rent out. But I'd like to show you the original front doors. In 1959, a car crashed into the front of Zaharakos, into the display window. It was 1959, 1960, so you add chrome and glass. And we'll probably show you a photo of that later. But during the restoration, what did we find in the dungeon basement? But the original front doors. The basement has been redone. It's no longer a dungeon. You can eat off the floors because that's where we make the ice cream. But we found the original front doors, and lo and behold, the original Whitman candy decal was still there in mint condition. You can even see the mail slot. Here's one of the earliest photos that we have of Zaharakos, which was the inspiration for the restoration. This is a 1909 view, and as we go down to the other one, it is a 1915. Shows already the difference in the stools. But you also notice you can see the skylights that I was talking about earlier. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you will visit us and enjoy some of Zaharakos' delicious homemade ice cream and some of their specialty sandwiches as you come in and enjoy the ambiance of this turn of the century 1900 soda fountain.